Thanks for staying with us. Let's now take you through the front pages of Nigerian newspapers to tell you what the headlines are this Monday morning and return for a quick analysis of some of the issues we'll be seeing. The Nation is where we're setting the ball as usual this morning. Tinubu targets interfaith, inter-ethnic truce in Plateau State. A good one right there for the president. And the Leadership newspaper angles on the same matter as well. Northern Christians, Miyetti Allah, hailed Tinubu for sending peace emissary to Plateau State, although there are quite a number of other issues we'll touch on as well. The Blueprints newspaper is where we're going to next. Again, the same matter. Tinubu sends emissary to engage Christians, Fulani leaders on peace. But something about the FRSC we'll talk when we come back for the analysis. The Punch newspaper is also around the same matter. Alleged Christian genocide. U.S. Congress begins full-scale probe into Nigeria's killings. All right. Abuja Inquirer shifts attention now to the PDP convention. Convention outcome. PDP sinks deeper. We'll tell you how deep the PDP has sunk based on Abuja Inquirer's view. The News Direct is where we're going to right about now, and this time around on economic matters. Federal government's suspension of 15% import duty threatens domestic refining energy security. Yeah, we'll talk more about that when we come for the analysis. And of course, the Daily Independent on the same economic matters. Experts warn of fiscal instability as Nigeria's borrowing grows. I've heard analysts said it's not about borrowing, but what you do with it. However, when it becomes too much, this Nigeria is angling another economic conversation, and a sad one. Unemployment shoots up, civil service job sales. We'll tell you what is really going on right there when we come back to analyze. The Platform Times is showing another light here. NBA demands full Correctional Service Act implementation. There's a story I'm working on with what is going on in our correctional facilities, but we'll tell you more on that matter. The Daily Times is next this morning. This time around, Landmark Water View is right here, and we see that a scandal reveals Nigeria's real estate fraud oversight failures. This is according to investigation. We'll let you know what this really means and what they're talking about. And of course, finally, the Sporting Lives, where we are not so gleeful this morning. Nigeria and what did we say played again? Oh, I'm just kidding about that. Osibe battles Salah and Hakimi. Well, I don't know why the matter is on Osime Toba, but we're not starting with Osime right about now. The Nation newspaper and the Truce, the president is sent to Plateau State in a way of trying to bring peace to this part of the country. The president himself was there some time ago. It seemed as though that didn't quell the storm. Now, a truce pact or delegation has been sent. Would anything good come out of this?
And that is what gave me concern. If Mr. President, for example, went to Benue State immediately after that killing, and all he did, the appeals he made, and so on and so forth, the elders of Plateau State were right there.
That's right.
You understand, the governor and traditional rulers and everybody, they were right there. And Mr. President appealed, you know, and said, let's stop all this violence and so on. 2-3 days after he left, another one happened. So this particular one, it proves one thing to me, that the federal government has said, okay, the Plateau stuff has religious undertone, you know, so let's go talk to the religious leaders. But talking to the leaders, is it enough? What hold do the leaders have on the young men that go on the trenches to do all these things they do? So we just take a story like this and say, oh God, let this work. Let this work. But will it work?
And Ria, you know, let me just stay with you on this. It's really sad that we keep seeing these numbers somewhat increasing every other day, or churning out every other day, where Christians and Muslims, or should I just say people have been killed. It's sad, really. We can't allow this narrative to be,
for me, I worry. And that's why when they say Christians, Muslim, I do not want to say Christians, Muslim. People are dying. And that's the most important thing. Nigerians are dying, whether it's 3 or whether it's 4. A life is a life. And sometimes we hear the huge numbers and you're just worried. I said it a lot of times that I hope that what US told us, we don't take it as a threat, but we take it as a wake-up call, to make sure that we end these killings. At the end of the day, it's not about trying to tell US that Christians are not dying. It's about saying that we do not have this happening again in Nigeria, because it's worrisome that we wake up and we hear, oh, people have died here, people have died, farmers fighting. It's just too much for me. I'm just hoping that, the new things that the president is putting in place will now be able to work, because oftentimes, Nelson, we've heard this many times, but at the end of the day, we still see it happening. I mean, look at what happened in Plateau, but like we can go on and on and on. We know that new service chiefs were changed. I'm just hoping that right now, these new service chiefs that we have in place, they would, at least let's see a difference. Talk is cheap. It's not about talking, but a difference has to be.
Let me allow you to have a bite at this as well.
It's a case of hope.
Hence, we need the United States partnership to help us handle what is going on.
Well, I said it here on Friday that the U.S. cannot just barge into Nigeria because we're a sovereign state.
That's right.
But it's a case of hope that we're seeing in Nigeria at the moment. We need to see more development. You said earlier that talk is cheap. Sending emissaries to Plateau is a good one. But let's see the change. Nigerians are dying daily in the country. So at what point can we ensure the safety of lives and property?
Exactly.
Which is key at this time. So it's all about, let's ensure that every Nigerian is safe wherever you are. Whether you're on the Plateau, you're in Benue, you're in Lagos, you're in the Southeast.
You sleep with your 2 eyes closed.
You must be able to sleep with your 2 eyes
let me
closed.
add this to that. Does this also stem from a lack of development?
On the part of the federal government?
No. States.
Well, for the states too, the sub-regions should be able to ensure that the people in your state are well protected. So it shouldn't boil down to the federal government alone. We are all stakeholders in this business. You and I too, you need to say something when you see something going wrong in your environment.
Just remembering when we had the Zamfara state governor saying that he knows where the bandits are, but he cannot go to them directly. Anytime we talk about this, I always mention that, because even hearing a governor say that is worrisome. So I'm just hoping that the new service chiefs we have, they put things in place. Let's stop trying to prove to US that, Christians are not dying, but let's make sure that Nigerians are not dying.
That's right. And I think that's a fine place to end it. It's a lot to discuss about that, but we need to move on now to the leadership newspaper. And Etoma, this matter of strike, we saw a release by ASU saying that they are going to go on another one. And the headline here says, or the rider here says, no end in sight as, or rather, did I say ASU? This is medical doctors. As resident doctors strike enters day 17. We're battling insecurity, as the case may be. And if you're wounded, where do you go for treatment? The hospital. And if the guy who's supposed to get you recovered is not there.
Yeah, when you asked that question, my mind just went to native doctor.
Right.
I have a friend, Dr. Philip Elangwe, that studied medicine. He made the best results in the whole of the University of Calabar. And on his graduation day, I happened to host the event that he had. I said, we're here to celebrate a man that went to the university to study medicine and graduated as a native doctor. Man, everybody went crazy. But that's just on the lighter side.
Right.
It is so disheartening that sector, that medical sector, is having problems. 17-day strike, resident doctors. We're not talking about nurses or support staff. We are talking about doctors.
Yes. Resident.
Resident doctors, 17 days. And when you want to look at it, you say, this federal government has too many things it has to give 100% attention. While insecurity is here, the resident doctors are not happy, the educational sector has issues here and there. Look, listen, it is not, the optics is not
it's not looking good at all.
That we have resident doctors striking for 17 days. That means whatever they are asking for has not been taken care of. These people have options.
And the Blueprint newspaper, Aria, is also talking about the same thing, the genocide matter. Also is the Punch newspaper as well. But I'd like us to shift our attention to the Abuja Inquirer. you know, which began the conversation on the PDP matter. Right, so we're shifting now to politics, everyone. PDP sinks deeper. What does the Inquirer mean about this?
When it comes to PDP, I've said it oftentimes on this table that, when it comes to their house, if it's not fixed, and I see it very, very difficult for them to fix that now. Every time we have conversations about PDP on the table, is either one person has done this, one person has done that. But I believe that the problem with PDP is control. Everybody wants to have control, and it's not possible. When two elephants fight, what will happen? The ground, and now the party itself is suffering. To think that this was a party that was leading, like when you look at the PDP, how prestigious that they were for 16 years. Now see what the party has turned to, different people fighting here and there. Now they say they are suspending people and all of that. I'm just hoping that these people they've suspended, because this is not the first time they're suspending people and then they're still having problems within themselves. It just seems like the party within themselves, there are so many things that they need to fix. I need them to understand that Nigerians are watching, because if there's a lot of back and forth like this in your own party, then how do you want to stand tall for 2027? And that's the conversation that we've been having.
And Emmanuel, could you take us through some of the process that came about, what we now see in the PDP?
We've had different court rulings, and it's quite worrisome that we're having such in Nigeria, saying stay on with the convention, don't go for the convention. The last one was from the Federal High Court. It's quite barbaric that we're seeing all this court judgment. Despite the court judgment, the PDP went ahead. The factional part of the PDP went ahead to conduct the convention in Ibadan on Saturday. So with all this drama, you had the governor of Adamawa State saying that, with all of what is happening at the moment, I'm not sure we should continue with this convention. Whether we like it or not, INEC was not represented at that Ibadan convention.
Hence, people are faulting the election that took place.
In this elective convention held in Ibadan. So a lot of crisis is still coming into the party. Now, this calls for the issue of formidable opposition parties in Nigeria. 2027 is by the corner. How formidable are these opposition parties to the All Progressives Congress?
We've said it a lot of times. I don't even ADC. We don't know what ADC is doing. Labour Party. I don't even understand what. They are very silent. The way the ADC came with a lot of talk. I'm even surprised I'm not hearing anything from them. Labour Party is still in crisis. So it just worries me that Nigeria is a democracy. Nigeria is not a one-party system. So what is happening to our various parties?
Well, it's a good question that they need to answer, Toma. But let me take you to the news direct now. Remember, this matter of the 15% import has been around for quite a while now. At first, it was, slammed in. Now it's been removed. And some economic experts are saying it threatens domestic refining in the country. What do you think?
I am 150% in support of that statement, because from the very first day the thing came out, I was happy. Yes, I was happy. I said, finally, this paradox of us being one of the biggest oil producers and we're still importing products, petroleum products, I think it's an insult on Nigeria, And if we slam such a tax on imports or petroleum product imports, it will encourage refining in Nigeria. I said it here on that day, that it will encourage refining in Nigeria. However, maybe they are realized why Mr. President is saying, okay, let's hold on this. I know that 15% tax will still come back. I want to believe it will come back.
Right.
But there are some things that should have been taken care of first before that tax is introduced, which was not done. I believe that's the reason why they are bringing it back
for now.
Definitely, it's a good move. It's something we should do if we want our refineries to start working. That is something we should do.
And just to chip in quickly, I feel like with what has happened and people are excited, it's just be happy now. But at the end of the day, it's the long run. It's not good for our local refineries. In an era where we keep saying, let's prioritize our own, what are we doing? So, and I said it as well, when things like this happen, I'm just hoping that they stand the test of time, because now you were happy, your happiness has been cut short. But I'm just hoping now that they put things in place and they bring it back. Because for now, we have Dangote refinery, we have the Port Harcourt refinery that's even trying to stand on their feet again. We need to prioritize our own refineries.
But Emmanuel, let me take you to the Daily Independent. Okay. This on loan app conversation here. Have you ever used?
Please come to me after this.
Money before?
Everybody borrows.
I don't.
On this,
I don't, because of the embarrassment. Sometimes when you don't pay back, you see your names,
which is not supposed to be
flying around to your friends, to your workers.
I even saw a Facebook post that says,
and you keep wondering at what point is sometimes even threatening that this person is a fraudster.
Yeah, he's a fraudster.
Have anything to do with him. So it's for me, I don't do it.
No, they have stopped that now. Okay. Yes, they have stopped that general embarrassment. They've stopped contacting everybody in your contact list and telling them how fraudulent you are, because actually it is wrong. And I think they could do that because they were faceless. Now we know them.
Right.
And you know that a lot
advice. We had a guest here some time ago.
Mary-Dotty.
Of course.
Mary-Dotty really spoke to us about it. And a lot of people have killed themselves because of it. A lot of people have committed suicide because of loan apps. At the end of the day, when issues like this come, I like to say that even though we understand how the economy is hard and everything, if you want to borrow, use your brain. Because some of those apps, they come with juicy deals. You see somebody say, borrow 30,000, or let me even say, borrow 1 million naira. And then how? But I'm just happy that there are some sanctions that have been put into that.
Which is good. Well, let me take you to this Nigeria, this matter of the civil service. Really sad right here. And check the writer. Shortlisted applicants pressured for 2.5 million to 3 million naira, and experts are warning rot in the system. Now, if I have to pay 3 million naira to get employed in the civil service, why would I then try to make sure that government policies work for the people? I have to make sure it gets into my pocket. Hence, the rot continues.
It just does not make sense. The civil service used to be where the best brains are employed. And now you are asking people to pay 2.5 million naira or 3 million naira for a job that will pay them less than 200,000 naira a month.
I mean, it's
completely criminal. The people involved should be fished out and punished publicly.
It's a criminal offense, but at the end of the day, when we look at it, how many jobs do we have in Nigeria? That is making people desperate. I do not support it. I feel it's criminal. It should not happen. But we also need to look at the fact that a lot of people are desperate. That's why they are taking this route. I'm just praying that,
will somebody take 2.5 million or 3 million?
Because let me tell you, because people want a steady income. No, people want a steady income. There's something that they call a steady income, knowing that you're collecting salary every month. So what I want to say is that
it's a shallow mind of thinking.
Well, but I'm just praying that we look into this, and like Thomas said, the criminals that are doing this should definitely be brought to book. But I was reading something, and it says in a Ibom state, which is a Thomas state.
No, it's not my state.
15,000 youths applied for just 3,000 civil service jobs. So you can see how there's a job deficit.
We need to go now. We need to go.
What's your state?
If you have
I'm from Cross River State.
You need to think out of the box and ensure that you start a business.
Right. Instead of going to...
But not everybody wants to be a business person, actually.
All right.
How civil are the civil servants?
But finally, ladies and gentlemen, we need to go to the sporting live this morning. Emmanuel, we're no longer on that rope to the World Cup.
Quite sad.
And it is sad for us.
Quite sad. Watching the match yesterday, and I don't know the rate of my BP, and we were just screaming. And I think Osimhen out of the game in the first half. The second half, we're nowhere to be found. And it's quite worrisome that Ghana qualified. Nigeria is
I'm not celebrating on this table because I'm sad as well.
We're not happy.
What is wrong with the Super Eagles?
This is the second time
as a team.
Super Eagles, they are not flying anymore.
I think
they are not flying.
I may not be a very good football fan and so on. But some days back, I think last week, they said the Nigerian Super Eagles were planning to build their team around Osimhen, and I said that is dangerous.
You mentioned that. Yes, you said so.
So Osimhen got injured in the first half and second half.
And you know that's my
because
problem.
the whole team was built around him.
Yeah. And I feel like when it comes to this team, trust me, I say it all the time, apart from Osimhen, I'm exempting Osimhen from this. The way we see them play outside is not the way they play for Nigeria. So I'm wondering that what is the problem? Because I didn't see coordination. I know people argue with me because like, what do you know about football? But I did see coordination, on that pitch. It's so sad to see that at the end of the day, our Super Falcons are doing a great job. But when it comes to our Super Eagles, what is the problem? What is happening? Now we are not getting anywhere on this table. We've been talking about how excited we are for Nigeria to get there, but we still have Ghana, so we have some hope. We still have some hope.
So are you saying we should shoot our leader?
No. I'm just saying that we have some hope. At least it's an African country as well, so we have some hope.
Well, Ria is giving us some kind of hope this morning.
To the goalkeeper. Goalkeeper, he did well yesterday.
Yeah. He didn't allow the balls to enter. He helped us with our BP. But I'd like to thank you guys. That's how far we can go on the newspaper review segment this morning.